Have you ever heard you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? That's from Rohn. That single idea has quietly built fortunes, ended toxic partnerships, and redirected careers. Today I'm going to show you the psychology of emotional contagion. The real reason the people around you can quietly reshape your mindset, your money, and your decisions. And exactly how to change your mindset by changing who's in the room with you. We're going to explore today. We're talking about something most people feel but rarely name. It's the energy impact of other individuals, how the people around us fuel our growth or drain it, and how understanding this can reshape your mindset, your business, and your bank account. Let's start with the core truth. Energy is contagious. Walk into a room where someone is anxious and you'll likely feel your own chest tighten. Sit across from someone who is calm and certain and you'll notice your own breathing. Slow down. This isn't mysticism. It's basic human wiring. Psychologists call it emotional contagion. We are constantly, unconsciously syncing our internal state to the people closest to us. The people you let into your inner circle are not neutral. They are either raising your baseline or lowering it every single day, whether you notice or not. Lesson 1, proximity is programming. Who you sit next to, talk to, and take advice from becomes the operating system running quietly in the background of your decisions. If the 5 people closest to you complain about money, you will start to see scarcity everywhere. If the 5 people closest to you talk about ideas, growth, and possibility, that becomes your default lens too. This is why the same opportunity can look like a risk to one person and a breakthrough to another. It depends on whose advice is loudest in their head. Now, lesson number 2, energy is a resource, not just a feeling. We budget money carefully. Few people budget their energy with the same discipline, but energy is the currency that actually produces the money, the ideas, and the relationships. A single hour with the wrong person, someone who criticizes every plan, competes instead of supports, or feeds on drama can cost you a full day of productivity. A single hour with the right person can generate an idea that changes your year. Lesson 3. Influence flows both ways. This isn't only about protecting yourself from draining people. You are also a source of energy for everyone around you. The moods you bring into a meeting, a marriage, a negotiation ripple outwards. Mastering your own energy state becomes a leadership skill, not just a self-care habit. Now, let's ground this in 2 books that unpack the mechanics of this idea far deeper than a quote ever could. The first is Who's in Your Room? The Question That Will Change Your Life by Stephen Cooper, Dr. Ivan Misner, and Rick Sapio. The metaphor at the heart of this book is simple and sticky. Imagine your life is a room and only a limited number of people are allowed inside it. Every person who enters brings their energy, beliefs, and habits with them, and that energy starts shaping your room whether you invited it consciously or not. The book's core teaching is that success isn't just about hard work. It's about curating who gets access to your time, your ambitions, and your vulnerable moments. The authors push readers to treat entry into their room as a decision, not an accident. The second is The Energy Bus by John Gordon. Told as a short business fable, it follows a manager whose team and personal life are falling apart until he meets a bus driver who teaches him 10 rules for approaching work and life with positive energy. The central teaching is that leaders set the emotional temperature of everyone around them, and that negativity, left unchecked, spreads through an organization faster than any strategy memo. Gordon's framework is built around one idea: you are the driver of your own bus. You decide who gets on, and you decide the energy you bring to the wheel every single day. So, How do you actually build on these lessons and apply them to business and personal life? In business, this means auditing your inner circle of collaborators, partners, and even clients the same way you'd audit a financial statement. Who consistently brings solutions to the table? And who brings only obstacles? Great leaders are ruthless, not unkind, but ruthless about protecting the emotional climate of their teams, because a demoralized team produces demoralized results. This also applies to mentors and advisors. The right mentor can compress 10 years of trial and error into a single conversation, simply because their energy and perspective are calibrated differently than yours. In personal life, this means noticing patterns. Do you feel lighter or heavier after spending time with specific people? Do certain relationships leave you inspired to grow and others leave you needing to recover? Small, honest observations like these, tracked over weeks, tell you more about your future than any personality test. This is also where mindset development comes in. Your mindset isn't just internal self-talk. It's shaped by the external inputs you allow in. If you want to build a growth mindset, resilience, or the belief that big goals are achievable, you need to be deliberately exposed to people who already embody that belief. Confidence, ambition, and discipline are learned behaviors, and proximity is one of the fastest teachers available. This is why so many high achievers seek out mastermind groups, coaches, and peer circles, not for information, but for energetic recalibration. Here are the 3 concrete actions you can take starting this week. Action 1, conduct an energy audit. List the 10 people you interact with most. Next to each name, write a plus or minus sign based on how you typically feel after time with them. Don't judge the list yet, just observe it honestly. Action 2, redesign your default room. Based on that audit, make one deliberate change. That might mean scheduling more time with a plus sign person, setting a boundary with a minus sign person, or seeking out one new relationship, a mentor, a peer group, or a mastermind that fills a gap your current circle doesn't cover. Now, action 3, become a source, not just a receiver. Each day, identify one small way you can bring energy into a room instead of just absorbing it. A genuine compliment, a moment of encouragement, a calm response instead of a reactive one. This trains your nervous system to lead with energy rather than simply react to it. Now, let's talk about people who've used this principle knowingly or not to build extraordinary lives, and I'll pull from a diverse range of backgrounds. So, Serena Williams has spoken often about how her father and her sister Venus built an early environment of relentless belief long before the tennis world recognized her talent. That inner circle shaped her mindset before her results ever caught up. And Madam C.J. Walker, one of the first American self-made female millionaires, built a network of women entrepreneurs around her, creating an energy of mutual ambition during an era when almost every external force worked against her success. Nelson Mandela often credited the community of fellow prisoners and allies who sustained his belief in justice during decades of imprisonment, proof that even the most restrictive circumstances, the right internal circle can preserve a person's mindset and mission. Malala Yousafzai has spoken about how her father's belief in education and the community of educators and activists around her gave her the courage to keep advocating even after surviving an assassination attempt. None of these are stories about talent alone. They're stories about who was in the room. Finally, let's cover the everyday and financial advantages of applying this principle. In daily life, surrounding yourself with the right energy reduces stress, it improves your decision-making clarity, and increases follow-through on your own goals. because motivation becomes shared rather than something you have to generate alone every morning. In business and personal finances, this shows up concretely. People with growth-orientated, financially literate circles tend to take more informed risks, negotiate more confidently, and recover faster from financial setbacks because their circle normalizes resilience instead of panic. Removing draining relationships, a business partner who constantly second guesses, a friend who mocks ambition, a family member who catastrophizes every expense, frees up not just emotional bandwidth, but literal decision-making capacity, which translates into better financial choices. Over time, investors, entrepreneurs, and savers alike consistently report that changing their social and professional circle was a turning point in changing their financial trajectory, simply because new standards of what's normal started shaping their choices. So, here's the takeaway. NAG is not just a soft secondary detail of success. It's foundational infrastructure. Choose your room carefully. Read the people around you the way you'd read a financial report. And remember, you're not just being shaped by the energy in the room, you're also the one bringing energy into it. Who's in your room today, and who do you want driving the bus tomorrow? Always remember to design your profits first and your spend second. And don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you've enjoyed this today.